In this video, you'll learn how to make an animation like this. You got to start with what is the purpose of your animation. My animation was to show the exploded and rotated views. You're going to start by getting an exploded view. This is part of a regular assembly feature. I'm not going to show you here how to create that, but you're going to need to create an exploded view and then manage that from the configurations tab. Once you have this, you're going to go into a motion study and create a motion study. Here I've got motion study 4 down here at the bottom. I've created a couple of other motion studies for practice. You should try that kind of thing too. Here we're now exposing the timeline of the motion study. It's going to show how all of the elements are going to play out. We're going to use the animation wizard just to get started here, and we're going to start with the rotation. We're going to kind of set a few parameters there. And now we've got all of these elements of the exploded view. Excuse me, we're starting with an explosion, not a rotation. All the elements of the exploded view are showing up here. Now each of these little diamond-looking things represent key points or key frames. And when we move them around, the animation will change. If we take the default, I personally think the animation is going to be a little bit boring. But on this one that we extended, which is the face of the light, if we make it really long now, it's going to move very slowly relative to everything else. See how that's happening in the animation. What you get to do here is you get to create the animation that you want. So I'm just doing an example here. We'll go back to motion study 3 in just a minute. But in my motion number 3, what I wanted to do is I wanted to have the notion of the flashlight rotating just a bit. I think I ended up going just an eighth of a turn, going just a little bit, exploding relatively slowly, and then collapsing really quickly. That's what I wanted to have happen in my motion number 3. And the way to achieve that is to manipulate all of these diamond-looking keyframes that indicate how fast or slow something is going to go. So in this particular example, number 4 here, motion study number 4, we can add lots of things. So we ended up doing the explosion. Now we're going to do a rotation. In this case, we're only going to rotate a small amount. I think that if we take a lot of the defaults, things look just kind of really goofy. But if we go in and we manipulate them and try to make them look exciting, then I think things are a lot better. So when we have the camera view and orientation, that's this black line here at the top, you're going to see that's going to happen at the same time as the explosion. And you basically get to craft your own animation here based on what you want to have happening at what times. You could very easily rotate and then explode and then keep rotating. In this case, I'm just showing you how to put them on top of each other. Okay, seeing now this is animation number 4 is looking reasonably good. We can save this, and there's a couple of things we want to pay attention to in the saving. First of all, get ourselves a good name, of course. Then we can save the screen view, or we can save the rendering. I'm not going to save the rendering now because it takes a lot of time to do that, but we'll just go for the screen grab. Also, what's happening here is the custom size is based on however my window is set. So my window is set kind of large now, and it's going to be big. Also, we want to make sure we're paying attention to the frame rate. I would recommend getting the full uncompressed version. Then you don't have to deal with these codecs softwares that kind of have to be installed and such. So once you hit save there, you're pretty much ready to go. Just get that into you've just saved it. Now you can go check, make sure that's looking all right. Just got to find it here amongst the various tests that I did. And I can't seem to find it, but there it is. Okay, and this is, of course, my animation number 4. That was just a quick demo to show you how that was done. But what I want to do here is go back to animation number 3, as in my motion study number 3. Because in my motion study number 3, I'm not happy with a few things, and you ought to do your motion study and then pay close attention to how good it is. So I have some parts of my system that are moving through each other, and I don't really like that. You could see that the ring was kind of going through the lens at the very end. This is the clip ring. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going in here and I'm really just kind of paying attention to each of the parts and making sure that they don't pass through each other in space, but that it would be an animation that could exist in real life. And I'm doing that as a way of kind of refining my animation. So a couple of key points to walk away with here. One is I have a purpose for my animation. And number two, I'm not just taking the defaults on everything. If I take the defaults on everything, I get something that's just, it's not very unique and it's not very creative, and it's probably not telling the story that I wanted to tell. And of course, the story that I wanted to tell on this one is that my flashlight has multiple internal parts, and I want to see those parts to demonstrate that there is depth in my understanding on how to model something. But I also want this to be kind of exciting, so I've had it rotate a small amount and then explode slowly and then collapse quickly. I thought that would be just kind of a fun way to do that. So again, I'm saving here my final version of this. I'm going to save the screen grab. I've also shrunk my screen just a little bit, okay, so that the custom value is turning out, the custom screen size is going to turn out okay. Then I'm going to take the full uncompressed version of this, and I'm going to save it. Now it takes a little bit of time for the system to take all the pictures that it wants to take. That's what it's doing, and then it's just compiling those into a video. And here's my final video. So this is simple animation, just a way of getting started. We use that animation wizard. I hope that helps, and good luck.